That might be loud as shit, but we are back. Hopefully this is working. My internet connection is unstable, but that's okay. We're trying to play some music. This is song 2 by Blur. Trying to be more professional in the podcast. If everybody can hear that, that'd be perfect. Playing in the background here. Welcome back. This is Eppie 2. We got some feedback. Hold on, let me turn my links down. All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. We had some echoing because I was watching my own YouTube live video in my back browser. We're going to introduce the boys. First introduction here on the podcast, we got Shane Leister.
All right, hi everybody. I'll turn my video on so everybody can see me. How's everybody doing? I'm sure you guys are doing fine. Just to reintroduce myself, my name is Shane. I'm currently 21 years old. Not the biggest hockey fan, but you know, I can hold my own when it comes to talking about hockey. So also Connor was shushing somewhere in the background, but we'll ignore that.
And next on the podcast, the introduction, we got Liam Cummins.
What's up, boys? Welcome to tonight's installment of the podcast. I hope you enjoy it. And let's go Pens.
And we got Dylan Casaboon, batting third.
What's up, boys?
And last but not least, the thickest of them all, Mr. Haywood.
Okay, I'm somewhat thick, but, you know, it's deep, thick, and eyes in season, boys. You know what it is. Beach season's coming up. You know, we're definitely going to have summer. I don't give a crap about what this freaking coronavirus is going to do. It's not going to stop me from having fun.
All right, all the boys are here. We got the gallery view going on Zoom, but maybe on the live stream you can only see one of us talking at one time. Who knows? We'll figure it out. We're getting into the second epi with the boys. This is called Free Agents and Bad Trades. Those are our two topics we're going to be talking about. But first, we got some announcements to make, of course. This is going to be a new structure of the live stream where we go over things that happened during the week because we've been away for a week. So the boys have been living their lives and we've been doing things. Zach, how has your week been?
It's been a good week so far. Your boy made Dean's List for the spring semester. First time
Hey.
ever. Academics. Took 6 classes this semester, but finally made a Dean's List.
Yo, grind don't stop.
Shane, how you
Exactly,
been? How's your
Shane.
week been?
I've been fine. Wrapped up my junior year of college this past Wednesday afternoon. Since then, just been kind of taking it easy, trying to get as much done as possible, but at the same time, just kind of relaxing, kind of de-stressing from the semester. But overall, it was a different semester, admittedly, but got through it. That's what
I'm glad
matters.
it-
And now, kind of hard to believe I'm going to be going into my senior year in college in the fall. But hey,
It's
time
scary,
flies.
isn't it? And Liam, how's your week been?
I'm good. I finished my first year in college. Yeah, I'm finally get to chill out now.
Mr. 4.0 right there. Mr. 4.0.
And
Going
last but
Duquesne
not
now.
least, Coss, how has your week been?
It's been brutal, man. I clocked in like over 50 hours of work this week.
That hustle,
Absolutely.
man. I'm telling you, when you're in your 20s, you work your ass off. All right, the boys have all introduced themselves. Now we're going to get into some brief announcements of the podcast about what's been going on in the NHL world and the rest of the world. Of course, let's hope that these are credible. All right, in the news going around, the rate of new infections declines as causes now surpass 50K. I don't know if that's good or bad, but as of Monday, which was a couple days ago, Philly has seen its third straight day with less than 400 cases of the coronavirus, and now CNN is launching the scary murder hornets. So if you're afraid of the murder hornets, then I'm sorry. And in Penguin news, Sidney Crosby donates 100,000 meals to the greater Pittsburgh area. Liam, how do you feel about that real quick?
Just to say, it just shows how good of a person he is, and he doesn't have a presence on social media either. I mean, he's not even doing it for publicity. He's just doing it because he's a good person. So,
But let's not forget, 20 years ago this week, Keith Primeau scored that famous goal in the 2000 playoffs to tie the series in 5 overtimes against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And last but not least, our announcement, hopping over into NFL real quick. We would be remorse if we did not. Remember Don Shula, the only NFL coach to lead a team to a perfect season, Pro Bowl Hall of Fame 97, 2-time Super Bowl champ, and the winningest head coach of all time, the Miami Dolphins. Of course, he passed away. May him rest in peace. That being said, we have our two main topics. We went through our introductions. Of course, our first topic of the podcast is going to be free agent signings of the season and notable free agents this summer and fall. We're going to go through that first topic. And after we go through the first topic, we're going to have what the people want, Shane's moment. Shane is going to be talking about his reading Olympics because the boys won it. And then we're going to dive into topic 2, which is bad trades and head scratchers of the season, talk a little bit about the trade deadline. And then when we finish up topic 2, we're going to announce the winner of the Wawa gift card. If you don't live in an area with a Wawa, I'm sorry for you, but you'll get $5 of Venmo. And we're going to be going through our responses. Also, put this out there. Thank you all for 500 followers on Instagram. Our presence is going up. So thank you for all that. Thank you for all the people who have been trying to work with us. We appreciate it. Zach, I'm going to throw it to you. I'm going to start us off with our first topic. Go get them, Tiger.
All right. So right now I listed out a bunch of free agent signings from this past season. We're just going to go through a list and pretty much critique how each person is doing for each respective team. First, we're going to start with the banger. Liam, I know you're going to get really pissed off about this. Let's talk about the Kevin Hayes signing. 7 years, $50 million. Liam, I'm going to throw it to you. How do you think he's doing so far with the Flyers?
well,
God.
I gotta say he finally scored 20 goals. So I mean, good for him. He is very overpaid though, and you all have to admit that he shouldn't be making 7-something million to be scoring 20 goals.
Exact.
Okay, I know he's a big defensive player and like someone who like young players will look up to in the dressing room, but he's not worth 7 million. But I mean, he's had a decent season. He's helped the Flyers a lot. He's good defensively. So it's
Have you seen
honestly
what? One of the best penalty killers in the whole league. You can 100% agree with that. And one of the best face-off men in the league.
Easily.
Coss, how do you think about it? How do you think about that sign? Oh, hi.
I think he's
Boys, real quick.
he's probably one of the bigger.
My little nephew wants to say hello. Say hi. This is Raiden, everybody.
What's up, man?
What's
up,
on,
buddy?
guy?
That was it. I have to say goodbye to him. Continue, boys.
All right, Coss, go.
Yeah, I think I like what Liam said, 7.1 million or what. It's definitely an overpay, but I think what he brings to the table is definitely what the Flyers needed. He's an all around player. He's definitely great on the power or on penalty kill, which was god awful. So and he fits well on our team because he's got our head coach that he's played with for what 4 or 5 years already. So
Yeah, he started.
it
I
definitely
think,
works out.
yeah, because he started in 2014-15 season. That was his rookie season, and AV got fired in 2018. So yeah, 4 or 5 years of being under Elaine Vigneault. Shane, how do you feel about that signing?
Honestly, I would say it's a pretty good signing so far. I think it's showing that it was a good decision to make. Also, he gets a big bonus because he's got his own beer, the hazy, the big hazy produced by Yard's Brewery down on Spring Garden Street in Philadelphia. So
yeah, I was
I
down there
think
yesterday.
I think he's a good character for the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm gonna give
Kind
my
of likes to represent what they're all about.
Exactly. He's fallen in love with Philadelphia ever since he came here, in my opinion. By the way, I went down to Yards Brewery yesterday, right off Spruce Street, and I bought myself a whole growler of that. Very hoppy beer, nice orangey taste. I definitely recommend going out and getting
Nice
Big Hazy
orangey
for
taste.
21 or plus. Connor, you had Big Hazy yesterday. What's your opinion on Big Hazy?
It was all right. Nice,
very hoppy beer.
hoppy orangey flavor.
It's very, very good. I
I'm
recommend.
out of breath. I
try
just
that.
went up my stairs so fast to say goodbye to my little bull.
That's sweet. Connor,
All right.
what's your opinion on Kevin Hayes?
Kevin Hayes. All right. I'm really out of breath, so gotta catch my breath here.
I
Kevin
can catch
Hayes.
it for you.
Honestly, no. So I was talking to my dad earlier about this, and he was like, Kevin, we didn't really know what Kevin Hayes was going to be like and what kind of player he was going to be like. I knew he was a good two-way player, a good two-way forward, and AV was working with him and back when he was with the Rangers and trying to get his two-way game going, trying to get him to be a better defensive player as well overall. You see him fighting off players with the puck all the time. He's a good positional player, plays with one hand on the stick a lot to fight off people, with his other hand. I think that's what I love the most about him. But honestly, I think the number one thing to get out of the way is, yes, obviously he is severely overpaid. I mean, you look at other players in the NHL, they're not making nearly as much as him. And yeah, they're better than him. I'll admit that. But for the Flyers, I think Kevin Hayes has been one of the best off-season signings that they've had in a while. And I'm not saying that just because I'm biased. I'm saying that because he's all you can ask for team player wise. And I said this in our Instagram comments when that one kid said he was trash and overrated. Yeah, I agree. He is overrated. He is overpaid, but that's just something that you're going to have with free agents and signings. Like, of course, during the summer when they're free agents, they're supposed to be overpaid because they go to other teams and hop around. Teams want to experiment and see what's happening with them. But I think the biggest thing with Kevin Hayes is he's a team player, and I think that's something that the Flyers needed. Of course, they had TK, one of the biggest team players there, hyping him up. But I feel like, you look back into the playoffs and the series that they had before, when Liam's been saying that Drew's not been doing a lot in the playoffs, and it's true. Him, Voracek, and other people, they haven't really been doing a lot in the playoffs. And I think when they do make the playoffs, because I know they will, that they have a better chance of going further, all because of Kevin Hayes, because he's really brought this team together. I think he's one of the best signings that they've had in a long time. And he's a huge team player. He's Team Portnoy. He's a hype man for the boys. Like, he comes in and starts with the Coots. There it is. Like, he's all you can ask for. And he's a 20-goal scorer now. He's on his way to having one of the best seasons that he's had in a long time, since I think like 2017, 2018 with the Rangers. I think he had like 25, 26, maybe 27 goals that season. He's got 23 now. So he's on his way if the season resumes, whenever it does. And I think that he's got a lot of potential and he's got to keep it up.
Yeah, I can agree with that one. It's just, it's development, it's just hard trying to develop in a new city you're with a new team, your whole new system. It's pretty hard to develop. And like, granted, like he's, like in my opinion, I don't think he's really worth over $7 million contract. But he still has 6 more years left on his contract, and we'll see how it goes along. Like I know, like I think like around the summertime he's like a -10 or something like that. But like over a course, he's been trying to get like his plus minus up into the positives. So
Yeah.
we'll
He
see
was-
how it happens.
He was shaky at the beginning of the year. I'll give you that. Like nobody really knew like what he was going to give to us and what his presence was going to be. But I do really feel like, all right, I'm watching the live stream now, so it does show all of us in the little cam. I didn't really know what he was going to be like at the beginning of the season. I was a little iffy about him, and I was like, I don't know if he's going to be good or not. But he did, he was cold at the beginning of the season. Of course, it's with a new team and a new city. You got to get used to it. But like I said, like it's with everything. Like you're in a new place, you got to get used to it. And he had his cold spouts, but he had his when he got hot too, and that's just with every other player.
Exactly, and then it just takes time for someone like that to develop into a new city, get used to his fans, because Philly fans are one of the most toughest fan bases out in the whole NHL. They're really tough. They'll be tough on like new people coming into the city. So we'll see how the next 6 years go along for him.
Also, wanted to add real quick to the little thing that was going on Instagram yesterday with like the long comments about Kevin Hayes. Just wanted to say, Matt, if you saw my message saying hi, why didn't you say hi back? Just want to put that out there. Like I said hi, Matt. Like you should just say hi back. That's all. Just asking for a little recognition. That's all. All right, you can continue.
I'm sure he'll say hello to eventually Shane if he's listening to the podcast or live stream.
Hey, you know what, Matt? Don't just take it easy, okay? Take it easy. All right.
Be easy, Matt. All right. The next person I want to go to, Liam. This guy recently signed to your team, Pittsburgh Penguins. Brandon Tanev, 6-year, $21 million. How you feel about him?
I honestly, for the Penguins' sake, I think it's a hell of a signing. I think it's I have to say it's much like how he's had the same impact that Hayes has with you guys. He's really good defensively, and he's helped their penalty kill a lot. And he really adds speed to the team. Now I think the contract, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think there's a slight overpay there, but honestly, he's been a good player for us. So I mean, I hope he keeps it up because he's been a big piece this season, especially in our success. I mean, we wanted to get more speed, and he's brought it.
It's a good analogy. Coss, what do you feel about Brandon Tanev being a Penguin in his year?
I haven't really seen too much of him. I mean, I know, he's kind of more so. I think isn't he kind of like a two-way player almost?
Yeah, it's like a defensive.
But I don't really got much input in this. I know he's kind of like his contract's kind of average. I'm pretty sure it's like up to like what 20, 24, 25 season.
6-year,
3.5, something like that.
$3.5 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, you get what you get.
Shane, how you feel about Brandon Tanev?
Honestly, you're probably asking the worst person when it comes to this. I really, aside from him being a defenseman,
he's a center.
Okay. Oh wait, never mind. Does he have a brother in the NHL? That's about all I know.
Chris Tanev.
Yeah, his brother plays for the Canucks, I think.
Yeah, that's what I know because I really could not give you a whole lot of information. 6 years, $21 million is definitely a hefty contract, but at the same time, if it needs to be set up like that.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I think 6 years is a little bit of an overstretch there. So I don't know. If I think I would like maybe a three-year deal better, but I mean he's still young, so
yeah,
I don't know.
He's still young.
Connor, how you feel about Chris Tanev? Oh, Brandon Tanev. I'm sorry.
I honestly have nothing on him.
Confusing people, man.
Yeah, I haven't really seen too much about him.
He's he's been very good defensively for us. I gotta put it there, and he adds speed. So I like him as a player. I just don't like the contract.
Yeah, I can agree with that one. Like, I feel like 6 years might be a little bit of a stretch. Probably a 3 or 4 year deal would be good. But like, $3.5 million a year for a second and third line center who can also help on the penalty kill. It's not really bad contract, in my opinion. I guess Jim Rutherford probably just went a little too extreme. Keep him on the team that long. He might be trade bait in the next couple of years. You never know. He might use that contract for trade bait. So you just never know about that. All right, next player. My opinion, probably the best signing the whole free agency last year. Artemi Panarin.
Yes.
Who wants to go
Oh
first? Who wants to go first?
Let me say a little bit something about this. So I feel like Panarin, he was a free agent, right? Free agent signing.
Yes.
So I think that's a monster. So were him, Bob, and Duchesne all free agents?
Correct.
Yeah.
And they all got acquired by, well, no, Duchesne plays for the Predators, right?
Yes, he does.
Well, for the player, so for Bob and Panarin, who went to the Rangers, or
Bobrovsky went to the Panthers.
Panthers.
I'm getting distracted. For Panarin, who went to the Rangers, I think that's a great signing, a great acquisition in free agency by the Rangers. Originally, I didn't really think too much of it, but obviously, like we said in our last podcast, the Rangers are a dangerous team. You know, they're one of the most surprising teams that have been out of the playoffs, but they're right on the cusp there. They could be in the playoffs like that, and especially with the playoff race heating up before the season was suspended. What's his name? 5 goals in one game.
Zibanejad.
So Zibanejad and Panarin, I think they got some chemistry there. I don't know if they're on the same line, but obviously in Capo Caco, I really haven't been looking at the Rangers like a lot, but crazy. But I think that's a very wise signing. But on the other side, Columbus, they have one of the worst off seasons. I think we can all agree with that. They lost Bob, they lost Panarin, they lost Duchesne, they lost all these guys. But I think it's key to point out, despite losing all these guys in free agency, they're still not a terrible team. They can't maintain their level of competition, but they're still not a terrible team. You know, the Rangers and Columbus, like, they're relatively around the same like elite level of a team. I think that the Rangers are a little bit better than Columbus because Columbus is reeling from the effects of losing all these players. But I think Panarin's been great in New York so far, and flipping over to Bob, Bob's been absolute dog shit in Florida. Florida's tank, man. Like Bob's a great goalie.
His contract's like 10 million, isn't it? Or something
7
near
years,
that?
70 million. Oh, was it 10 years? No, it was 7 years, 70 million.
And I feel like part of the reason why Bob's been not terrible, but he hasn't been great for the Panthers is because there's a lot of things. I mean, Florida, you know, everybody thinks it's like the joke of the league. You know, they don't really have a lot of attendance and everybody makes fun of them. And I feel like there might be something inside Bob's head. It's like, is it really worth it? Like, yeah, he's getting paid, but like it's a totally new team. I feel like they don't really, I mean, I'm not a fan of the team. I'm not there, but I feel like they don't really have the fan base. They have a new coach. They got Coach Q. I would have loved to have him, but I think Coach Q just doesn't fit in that team. And I don't think Bob fits in that team either.
Well, you also got to realize with Bob is that he has an absolutely new goalie coach. He has a new way to the arena. He's living in a different town, different fan base.
I think it's too much.
It can all really mess with your head and like how to play right in front of these fans. Like, granted, like I know there's some passionate Florida Panthers fans out there, but I realize that it's all about mentality. It's all about like how focused you can stay in each other game. Plus, granted, he's probably not used to playing with these other players that he's currently playing right in front of. So sometimes he's got to let goalies like that develop, get used to this, get used to the system, get used to the environment that they're currently around, and eventually they'll have their mindset straight up and perform to the way that the fans want.
I think that's true. I was gonna say too the fact that this is his first year there, and admittedly he's not looking like somebody who should earn 10 million a year, but admittedly, I think he's probably past his peak, but at the same time, there's some goaltenders that are like fine wines. They kind of get better with age. So you never know.
Exactly.
Bobrovsky could be one of those cases.
Beautiful.
About the Panarin signing, like Zach said, it is obviously the best signing of the offseason. I mean, 69 games, he has 95 points. And he also has 63 assists as well. I mean, he's called the bread man for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a hell of a player. And he's really breaking out. Like, he was a good player before, but this season he really broke out, and he's showing why he's worth, I think the contract is 11 million a year or something like that.
Like 11.
I mean, he's showing why. Yeah, he's showing why he's worth that. So, and if the season wasn't suspended, he'd easily be a 100-point player.
Oh yeah, 100%. Coss, what do you think about that signing?
I think it was great, honestly. Like Liam said, it was the best sign of the year. it's you put a guy like Breadman on a line with Zibanejad, and obviously they're gonna blow up at some point. I mean, like, look at him. He just had 5 goals, and when we played the Rangers, I think it was like one of the last games before we ended. That was they looked pretty deadly, and I think if they got into the playoffs, snuck into the playoffs, they're one of the teams to beat, because they were pretty hot before they ended off. So I think that's probably the best offseason signing.
Like, granted, before, when Panarin signed that contract, I was a little iffy about it, because you're paying someone like that $11.5 million a year, who's been in the league for 3-4 years, won the Calder Trophy back in 2016. By the way, Shane Gosper almost won that. Just remember that.
No,
He
he's
finished second in
irrelevant.
voting. He finished second voting that year. But the Rangers, they're a good team. You gotta realize they're a good team. They built up their defense this past year.
Young too.
The only thing that they have to solve is who's starting net. That's the only thing they have to find out who's starting.
Yeah, what do they got? Like 3 tendies over there. They got the 2 young guys and
Gershkeshkin, Georgiev, and Hank. Like, I feel like they'll trade Georgiev at some point. I feel like he's more trade bait, and they'll probably stick with Hank and Gershkeshkin over the next couple of years until Hank decides to retire, or when his contract ends. They're a hot team.
Hank the Tank.
Hank
I don't know if that's his nickname, but
it can be his
Here's a
nickname now.
realistic question I got for you boys. Just something I thought of. So how old is Lundqvist?
Like 37, 38.
he's as old as you want him to be.
So Shane, Jesus Christ. How long do you think? Well, I know we haven't been watching that much of like the Rangers, because we're not Rangers fans, but just a question to get your mind kind of boggling here. How long do you think Lundqvist has with these new acquisitions? How long do you think? And do you think it's going well in New York with Panarin and Zibanejad and Lundqvist?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure the last month of the season, I'm pretty sure he only had like maybe 2 or 3 games.
He was
played.
being scratched
I know
too.
2 guys
Because you got
he was being
Georgiev,
scratched.
you say his
Like,
name.
I just don't see it. I don't see it lasting that much longer. I don't know how much longer he's got on his contract, and that's probably going to be the final say. But
point.
yeah.
Yeah, I say 2 years max. And if he doesn't get a Stanley Cup in that time, I'd say
I don't think he's
done
going to get a
for.
Stanley Cup in that time unless
No.
the Rangers go on some magical run.
St. Louis Blues.
Hey, yo,
Which
St.
could
Louis
happen.
Blues
Which
story.
could happen,
St. Louis
though.
Blues story.
You put Panarin, Zibanejad, and they both get hot. Couldn't be.
Yeah.
But I think
Don't count it out.
that's the only way Lundqvist wins the cup is if, I think that their window was back in like 2014 or 2012 or whenever
they got to the final against the Kings.
Yeah, and I
That's the
think
closest
that
they got.
sucked. Obviously, like personally, I hate seeing teams win championships like over and over again. I mean, like, I'm still salty about 2010 when the Flyers lost the cup to the Blackhawks. I'm still definitely so salty about that. And the thing that makes, you can't control it, but the thing that makes me most upset is that, again, you can't control it, but the Blackhawks were a dynasty at that time. They went to win 3 cups in 5 years. So it's like, the Flyers went on a magical run, and every now and then I think to myself, it's like, man, why couldn't you just give us? You don't know, but like, why couldn't you just give us that championship? And then you go win your 2 cups the next seasons, because you're still a dynasty. Obviously, the Flyers were on a magical run. Sometimes that kills me, but that's what I'm thinking about. Like with winning the cup, like certain teams have this window. Everybody knows you have the window of winning the cup, and when that window closes, you're a rebuilding team, and you have a long time, or maybe a couple of years before that window opens up, and it might not ever open up again. So I think Lundqvist his window of winning cup was 2014 to maybe 2016, maybe those years. But I think 2014, 2015, of course, when he went to the finals, that was his prime, and when they lost in the finals, his reaction, like he knew it was over, of course, and he might not ever get back there. So I wanted the Rangers to win that because LA has already won a cup before.
2 cups. Right. Yeah, the king of second place, what they call him that year, because he finished second in the Olympics when Canada beat him.
Yeah, gods are cool, man.
Yeah. Well, I feel like he has like 2 years max. Because I know Hank wants to be Ranger
So-
for the rest of his career, but you never know. May have the next couple of years. He might change his mind and request a trade to a team that he could potentially back up or maybe even start because he's still a decent goaltender and potentially lead the team to a Stanley Cup championship. You never know. May happen.
It can happen.
I lagged out, but that's okay. Everybody see this graphic up here. Lundqvist is going to be a free agent next year.
Oh wow.
Holy shit! He's making $5.5 million that year.
So if we take this into account with free agency or all the team players they got and Panarin, he's a free agent in 2021. He's an unregistered free agent, unrestricted free agent. His contract right now is 7 years. Look at that. Ooh, that's a lot of commas. That's a lot of zeros.
I can't believe they're paying him that much and not playing him.
Yeah.
Or trading him or anything. Wow.
So when you think about it, in this season right now, you can see it right there. 2019 to 2020 season. He's got one more season on his contract. I think that's his last season with the Rangers. I don't think they're going to re-sign him.
You never know. They may resign him to maybe like a $2 million, $1.5 million deal. Or like
he would be a good mentor. He was a good goalie for a long time. So like, I mean, I could see them sign him for like 1, maybe 2 years, and just coaching the young guys. But I can't see anything for a start or anything like that.
But realistically, I think that next season might be his last season. When he becomes a free agent, I think he's got a pretty good chance of being picked up by another team because of what he's done. So just being a veteran presence to another young up and
you're making me on there.
Either that or they'll restructure his contract or make a different contract for him. And yeah, but I don't think he's got that much long.
They say yawning's contagious.
No, I feel like the Rangers will probably resign him after his contract, but not for that much. I don't think he really wants/needs that much. Granted, he's made $8.5 million over 7 years. So
yeah. Zach, Butchie, you got anything else on your free agent list?
Yeah, let's have another argument. Ivan Provorov contract, 6 year, $40.5 million. Let's go to Penguins fan first. How do you think about that?
To be honest, I don't really pay attention much about his play style, but honestly, he is a good young defenseman, and I think he's going to be a good leader on that team, and he's going to be, potent on the blue line. He's a good player. He's young, as I said, and the Flyers are going to build off him for sure, and they could create a good defensive core around them.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I thought 6.5. What was it? 6.5, right?
It's about $6.5 million a year.
6 years.
Close. 6 years.
Yeah, I thought that was right on the money.
Dude,
I thought,
that.
Really? You think?
I think Provy's a bit overpaid.
See, I think, if I'm being honest, I think he's easily the best player, top 3 on our team. You got him, Coots, and it's a toss.
Yeah, but just because he's a good, money doesn't determine whether you're a good player or not.
Right, I know, but like, I just think for overall, I think he's probably easily the best overall defenseman on our team.
Yeah,
but I think he's got everything that we need in a defenseman. He's good on the blue line. He's good on the power play. You look at that one overtime goal versus Montreal. That was pretty sexy.
Burnt Max Domi. He burnt Max Domi. I hate Max Domi.
So the deals of his contract that happened this season, they signed him to a 6-year, $40.5 million contract. He was a restricted free agent from Russia. I don't know. Average annual value of $6.75 million. I remember hearing about that when they re-signed him. Shane, what are you doing? Why are you making a bunch of weird sounds over me? I think, in my honest opinion, it's kind of like with a lot of free agents and a lot of re-signings, it's like you don't really know, and of course they're gonna pay him more. I think he's a little overpaid. I don't think he's got a lot of potential. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's a little overpaid for right now, especially at what he's at. But I think at the beginning of the season, he was very shaky. I think that
he definitely has moments.
Yeah, he wasn't worth his money when they re-signed him, and I had my doubts about him, of course. And I remember he turned the puck over a lot, and I didn't really like the way he was playing. I personally I don't really like the way Provorov skates. I think Provorov thinks about things too much and gets in his head. But lately, of course, with the Flyers becoming a team and getting back together, I think that I still don't think he's worth his contract right now, but I think he's starting to get there.
Shane, what's your opinion on that?
My opinion on it, honestly, I love left-handed defensemen. So when it comes down to it, I think considering the fact that he's young, he's a crucial piece in the Flyers picture overall. I would say that the 40 million is maybe just a little too much. If it was maybe like 35, I think that would be perfect.
Shane, his average annual value is $675 million.
600, well, 6.75 million. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think if he was making like 6.25 or 6 million, I think that'd be just right. That would be just right.
Yeah, like I kind of feel like he probably should take like Travis Sanheim type of contract. Because Sanheim only took a 2 year, I think like a 6.25 million. Yeah, it just kind of like proved that he's worth a little bit more than what he's really worth. But Provorov kind of went
something.
Also, you got to think about it like this. I have a good example. So Provorov is signed to a 6-year, $40.5 million contract. Okay, so 6 years, AAV of $675 million. Compare that to Kevin Hayes, 1 more year, 7-year, and he's an average annual value of $714. So that's a matter of like $1 million and change right there, or a little bit less than $1 million. I'm bad at math. But if you compare that, they aren't being paid the same, but they're relatively in the same area of what they're being paid. How does that change your opinion on Provorov's contract?
They each play different positions. Yeah, I realize like how each position they play. Kevin Hayes is meant to go out and score. Provorov is meant to go out like, and kind of like chip in on the offense, but also play defense. Yeah, I realize
like a two-way forward.
Positions. He is a two-way
defenseman, puck moving defenseman, maybe. Reading off those NHL, ESHL prototypes or whatever they're called, player styles.
Like your loadout.
Pick from the bunch. Yeah, your loadout. Yeah. Which one does he fit the best? So
Kevin Hayes is more of a power forward, in my opinion.
Yeah.
More power forward, and Provorov is more of a puck moving defenseman. You just gotta realize that they're playing different positions, so they should be paid a little bit differently in that regard.
Right. I feel you there.
And they each bring different things to the table. You got Kevin Hayes, all around locker room guy, and then you got Ivan Provorov. He's not the locker room type, but he has a little bit of leadership on the blue line, even without even having to say anything.
Yeah,
like
I love Provorov because he brings that like Far East flair with him too.
Far East movement.
Far
East movement, like a G6.
Boys.
Well, they call Russia Far East, but okay.
Oh,
I think we're going for something different there.
I thought you were talking about like that Far East movement band. That's saying that's
all right.
Like a G6.
Let me bring attention to one of. Was Robin Leonard a trade? He was a trade. We'll talk about that later. Zach, did you have anything else?
I was gonna talk about one more person we can probably talk about. Mitch Marner. How do you feel about that contract?
This was a good one.
Yeah, but do you feel like? I feel like the Maple Leafs don't.
He is overpaid.
Yes.
And he's also Jesse's twin from Bar Down TSN. Shout out Bar Down.
Yo, I once DM'd Jesse because someone's wearing a Jeff Boom jersey, so I DM'd them, and like a week later, he like sent me like 4 flame emojis. I had to send you guys.
It was 3.
Oh yeah, 3 or 4, whatever. Yeah, I showed you that, and I was like, damn.
And Connor came in with this fact check real quick. Damn.
Trust me, when you got to fight off the Democrats, you know who you are. Wink, wink. You got to know your stats.
At my mom. Just at my mom.
All right. I think that I think what's his contract here? Let me share the screen here.
6 year,
It's like
65.35. 6 year, 65.35 mil a year.
Yeah. Oh, let me bring it up.
And he's not the highest paid player on the Maple Leafs. Just remind you guys that.
Yeah, I mean, look at them.
Rank
They're
is he
dumping.
second or third?
He's under contract for all
Oh,
this.
60.958.
The thing about the Maple Leafs is that they're dumping all their salary cap into 3 players, and
Yeah.
I mean they're good players, but you also need money for depth players, and 3 top players cannot win you championships. Teams that win have depth, and they don't really have it. So and I understand Kyle Dubois is young and all,
Shit.
but like this is just such a stupid move. Honestly, it's so dumb. Like you're dumping all this money into 3 people. Like
Yeah.
you need to spread it out amongst the team. You can't just
His
invest
average,
in
his annual average salary is freaking $10.8 million.
That's a lot of money.
He's making all
Honestly,
through sign bonus.
before they signed him, I was honestly thinking that they were gonna let him go because I know he was a restricted free agent. I think they were.
I know that. I think it was the
picks.
Islanders. The Islanders put in an offer sheet for him.
Really? Yeah, I honestly didn't think they were gonna resign him just because I didn't think that they were gonna spend all their more money that they already are spending on 2 other players.
I mean, obviously, I think he's a vital piece, but I don't think they
Definitely
really need him for how much money they're paying him.
Yeah.
Because
Who forgot to put their phone on silent?
that was my laptop. Like you look at it, so 2019, 2020 base salary $700K. He's not going to be a free agent until 2025. So
you gotta realize one thing. He's getting all that sign bonus. That sign bonus is not tax.
Yeah, look at that.
Tax in Canada are ridiculous. So granted, I don't know how much tax in Canada are, but I know that they're ridiculous.
Bro, I don't even know what I would do with that much money. Like a side note here, like what the frick would you?
So every July 1st, he's getting that 15.3, 14.3, $9.6 million. He's just getting that no tax, nothing. So once July 1st comes, he's refreshing his bank statement. He's going to check that numbers adding up. It's ridiculous.
All right. Then any other?
I got one more. I got one more.
Coss,
what do you guys think about Ilya Kovalchuk going to the Caps?
That's dumb. I don't really care about Kovalchuk. He's spent, dude.
Caps fans are freaking like busting all over that.
They're going crazy. They're thinking he's gonna come back as a New Jersey Devil, Ilya Kovalchuk, when the dude's been in the KHL for how long?
So long.
Like granted,
he's been in the league for so long.
He hasn't really been in the league for so long. He went over to KHL for like 5-6 years,
and here's my come back. Too. I think that if you go in the KHL, obviously it's not that nobody wants you, but it's like nobody wants you. It's like all right, you've spent so long in the NHL and you've done all this, and especially with like you can compare it to Yager going overseas. It's like when they don't get a new contract, they don't get signed, you go overseas to play because they don't want to stop playing. And then him coming back over here, it's kind of like we like forgot about you, but like if you got anything left in the tank, yeah, come on, let's see what you got. You know what I mean?
Like he lost his confidence when he signed with LA. He lost his confidence, and then ever since he went to Montreal, it was kind of like a revital of his whole career. And like getting like traded to the Capitals, like I get like he wants that Stanley Cup, and he feels like the Capitals will help him lead that Stanley Cup.
You know, like looking at the teams he's gone to, I think it's almost like he's trying to hop on after that team like has success, if that makes sense.
Well,
it's like with LA, like he's hopping on like after they win the cup, but like also too with Washington, like they won the cup.
40 years old.
I know. Hey, you never know. He's trying to cash in. He's trying to cash in the remaining years he has left.
Yeah, so. I don't know, because honestly, any person would, if they want to go win a cup, he's not signing with LA. Right. Like LA's a shit team. I mean, he went there because of the check he's getting.
Yeah.
Like he was only like how much was he on, like $3 million a year over in LA?
Yeah.
Or something I forget, something like that.
His contract is, let me see.
Well, no, because they bought him out of his contract.
His average for 2019-2020 with the Kings, his average salary is $6.2 million.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But his contract is only for 2 years. And if you take the average salary and multiply that by 2, he's at $12.5 million. So in this current season, his base salary is $700K, signing bonus $5.3 million. Next year, his last year on the contract, he's at $4.2 million.
Well, didn't they buy him out?
I'm not sure. That's what it's saying here.
Yeah, because
I'm
honestly,
not sure on that.
Cavs fans think that they're getting the Ilya Kovalchuk from the Atlanta Thrashers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say they bought him out. 100% bought him out.
Ilya Kovalchuk signed a 1-year, $700K contract with the Montreal Canadiens, including $700K guaranteed and an annual average salary of $700K. In 2019-2020, this season, Kovalchuk will earn a base salary of $700K while carrying a cap hit of $700K.
Yeah,
So his contract is like 1 year. So he's going to be a free agent next year.
Yeah,
and I don't see him being re-signed anywhere, to be honest.
No,
Right.
no one's gonna want 38-year-old Ilya Kovalchuk who can barely produce in the offense. Like Cavs fans are so excited over Ilya Kovalchuk being on the team, but you're getting the older, worn down.
Maybe they were
Ilya
hoping for
Kovalchuk.
that like little Russian team up with him and Ovechkin.
Mhm.
Maybe Ovechkin
Not
would bring
gonna
out the old Kovalchuk out of him, but
It's not gonna happen.
don't think that's
Sorry,
going to be the
Cavs
case,
fans.
unfortunately, Capitals fans. But
Second
you know
round
what?
exit.
At the end of the day, Capitals are still a good team.
Mhm.
So
Second round exit.
Throwing this back to when we were talking about Provorov, I want to give a
throwing it back. Hello.
quick shout out to my dad who's commenting on the live
He
stream.
said Robin, but not a Batman.
Oh.
So great show, boys. Appreciate the shout out. Said Provy's a good Robin, but not a Batman yet. Niski helped him a lot this year. How do you boys
That
feel?
is very true.
Love Matt Niskanen. I love Matt.
He's honestly up there with one of the best acquisitions this year.
That was a great trade. Like Grant, I love Radko Gudas,
Mm-hmm.
but he could have produced in the offense.
Radko Gudas is trash. He was the only reason why the Flyers had him is to unload cap and whatever, of course, but he was their enforcer.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, he was like their oldest defenseman at one time at like 27 years old.
I think the most, like, if we take a quick poll here, like, who do you think's been the most influential defenseman on the Flyers so far this year?
It's been Niski for sure.
Matt Niskanen and Justin Braun.
I would say Matt Niskanen.
I think
Niskanen or Braun.
Them acquiring Braun and Niskanen, they've been great, and they've been, kind of like veteran presence, of course.
They are veteran presence.
Niskanen's a player on the team that's won a cup. So, I mean, I don't know if that means anything, but obviously they've taught a lot to these young defensemen, Sanheim and Provorov too.
I think that always means something. He's got NHL playoff and cup experience. It's always something to have on a team.
There's also, getting a little sidetracked here too, but there's also something.
Did he just lag out?
Yeah, you lagged out, Connor.
I think he lagged out. Oh, sorry, folks. Technical difficulties here at the Quarantime Out podcast.
I'll pretty much. Connor, repeat what you said. You lagged out.
Okay.
Am I back?
Yeah. Disregard what I said then.
My Wi-Fi went out. My internet connection's unstable. This is the crap show.
LOL.
Yeah. So, all right, you boys can hear me now?
Yes.
So I think that obviously experience is important, but with who was I just talking about? I'm losing my train of thought.
Matt Niskanen and Justin
Get it
Braun.
back on track.
So with him being the only player to win a cup, I mean, I don't think it's huge, but I think moving into the playoffs, it's obviously a big deal because you need to have experience, and you need it. Like if the Flyers, God forbid, go far in the playoffs, you need to have people who have presence, people who have been to the Cup Finals before. Drew's been to the Cup Finals before.
JVR.
Oh, his internet.
His internet
Go
sucks.
on, Con.
Unlucky Con.
Con said,
Your internet lagged out again.
Yeah, somebody take this from me. Yo, Bon, get off the Wi-Fi.
Okay. So pretty much what you're trying to say is it's good having someone who's teammates who have playoff experience, just in case a team like the Flyers goes to the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's good to have that experience.
It can make a difference.
Exactly. Because they know the stress level, they know what it takes to play in the playoffs, they know how hype it is, they know how hard the fans can get. Depends on which arena you go to, which team you face. It's going to be tough, and they're there to help calm them down. Like granted, like Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Phil Kessel, Patrick Hornquist, Crystal Tang, Matt Murray, all of them, they've all playoff experience. And granted, if they do get traded to like another team, that'll be good for that team who has that young vet, that has that young core, so they can help them, calm down the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a different game, and it requires a different mentality. So
Not saying that Crowell's being mocked and are
Dude.
going to get traded, but you never know.
Dude, my
Having
Wi-Fi
experience.
freaking terrible.
Speaking of Matt Murray, that's Liam's favorite player.
Yeah,
Really?
I don't know. There's the talk that he might be traded next off season because both him and Jari are going to be free agents. Honestly, I hope we do a bridge deal with both them, keep them on for next year, and then have 2 starters next year and see, who's worth the money. So I don't know.
I see what you did there. Bridge deal. Pittsburgh has a lot of bridges. Is that not what you were going for?
No, but yeah.
Just a bit of banter, quarantine out.
All right, so to wrap up this topic here, hopefully my freaking Wi-Fi doesn't go out again because I freaking got freaking terrible Wi-Fi.
Watch your
Shane,
language.
Liam, you got any free agents you want to talk about on the Pittsburgh side of things?
No, we really just covered it. Brandon Tanev. So, yeah. I don't know.
All righty, well, that will conclude our first topic with the boys in the second epi. And hopefully my Wi-Fi doesn't cut out because we're going to throw it to Shane Leister. We're going to have a spotlight on Shane because right now Shane is going to give the fans what's wanted in the podcast.
Shout out at Noah Goetson.
Yeah, shout out Noah Goodson for asking the questions.
He's going to talk about his reading Olympics career. Take it away, Shane.
All right, so we're gonna wind back the years a little bit, all the way to 2010. This was 5th grade. I was in. My teacher's name was Mr. Curtis. Oh man, what a teacher he was.
Curtis.
Mr. Curtis, quite a teacher, gotta say. But yeah, it's kind of hard to believe that was 10 years ago. I was in 5th grade. Now I'm in 15th grade. Kind of crazy to think about. But anyway, when going back to the whole reading Olympics thing, so the way that it started was about halfway through the year. Mr. Curtis was like, "Hey, we're gonna do this reading Olympics thing. And if you want to, you got to go home and sign this permission slip because it mentioned like something about curriculum, blah, 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 just stuff that was unimportant." And so what happened was he mentioned that every single year that he's done it, the only person who has not done reading Olympics actually like ended up like starting to cry because they didn't do it. So I was like, all right, well, I should do it because it seems like a lot of fun. So kind of went about just kind of talking about reading Olympics to Mr. Curtis. And he said, yeah, so it's kind of this like half-year long competition where you read as many books as possible. You go to a competition at a neighboring intermediate school or middle school, and pretty much you compete in like book-related trivia to win prizes, things like that, and the best overall team score wins. So the way it started out, I can't really remember a whole lot of books that I read. I know I read a lot. I think 2 of which that came to mind was Phantom Tollbooth and another one called Maniac McGee. The reason why I remember Maniac McGee so much was that the actual book took place in Norristown, Pennsylvania, which is not too far away from where this podcast is taking place. And that's probably the main reason why I remember it so much is because it was referring to a bunch of towns that I knew. And on top of that, the author Jerry Spinelli is actually from Norristown. Also, if you guys want to, we can try and get Jerry Spinelli on the podcast. I think it'd be an interesting guest. But anyway, I think he'd be an interesting guest. He's written a lot of sports books, so you never know. This guy might have a bit of a hockey knowledge stored away. But he also wrote the book Crash. But the main thing I remember about Maniac McGee was that he's talking about this kid who had this like crazy ability. Like he was really smart, but at the same time, like he didn't do super well in school. And he was also really athletic. But I mean, to be honest, the main thing that I can remember was at the actual competition with Reading Olympics, which was held at our neighboring middle school. I can remember there was a question talking about it, and I got that question right. And that was like one of the biggest questions of the night to get right. So what happened was after that, our school or our grade in particular, like we had different classes throughout the actual grade. And so we maybe took about 200 students there. And I think it was probably like out of the 200 students that were there, they were probably split between like 10 classrooms, I think. And I would say probably close to like 7 of the 10 classrooms like actually won their competition. And so our school ended up actually winning the whole Reading Olympics. We had a little pizza party celebration for it. I thought it was a lot of fun because I will say that is probably one of the most fun times I've had reading as many books as I did. I will say I don't read at that fast of a pace anymore, but at the same time, I was kind of having fun while doing it. This is around the same time too. If anybody remembers First in Math, that was quite the program. I can remember I was actually ranked 77th in the state of Pennsylvania in 5th grade for First in Math. So that's a little 5th grade accolade. I will say there was a lot of stuff that happened in 5th grade. A lot of good stuff that happened in 5th grade. You know,
Dude,
there was
first in-
2010 World Cup. You got the Reading Olympics. You got First in Math. You got moving on to middle school after 5th grade was over. There was just a lot of crazy stuff that happened. Philadelphia Union played their first ever match. Philadelphia Union scored their first ever goal, which I was at the game for. I got to witness Philadelphia Union's first ever goal. So I will say, you know, 2010 was just a very good year overall. You know, both in my personal life and overall, I think it was just a very good year. I wanted to give another shout out to Noah Goodson for asking the questions that not too many people might expect, but you know, he deserves the answers when he's asking those kinds of questions. So once again, thank you, Noah, for asking that question about the Reading Olympics. Hope I answered it to the best of my ability.
Dude, First in Math was so competitive. It was so competitive.
It's like cutthroat, dude. It was seriously cutthroat.
It was.
So
By the
messed up.
way, that middle school was a crap hole. That middle school was
All
disgusting.
right, so I just got an
Sounds
up,
like we had
Pigsty.
different experiences.
just got an update, boys. My wife,
Pigsty.
y'all can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently my Wi-Fi was upgraded. I don't
Yes!
know, but whatever.
Yeah, dude. First in Math was cutthroat. Zach brings a
Wait.
very good point.
If I can ask
Like-
you boys a question, what was your favorite book that you read for summer reading?
Killing Jesus.
Dude,
Don't have
how
one,
hard
books
was
are
the Phantom
stupid.
Toll Booth to read?
Actually, no.
Stupid.
I
summer
remember
reading.
Phantom Tollbooth was long. I just remember it was like really long, like a really long book for kids our age at the
Right.
time.
Yeah, it was fucking stupid.
Killing Kennedy.
Shit book.
Actually.
Favorite summer reading book. Oh boy. I remember when there was all that noise about the Other West Moor.
Yeah, there
That
was.
was actually a pretty good book.
I thought that was pretty cool too.
I don't even remember.
Was oh gosh, there was a book that I read too that was talking about like some I don't know the name.
Yeah, I don't know the name of either, Shane. I think your Wi-Fi cut out.
That I think it was a summer reading book for like 11th or 12th grade, maybe. Can't really remember the name, unfortunately, but I think the synopsis was like he was a Rhodes Scholar, something like that, and then he ended up being like a Navy SEAL afterwards. So, what do you need?
Oh,
story.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
was
don't know
that the Other West Moor?
I don't think so.
Okay. But I remember that book specifically. There were a couple other books that you read throughout like middle school and high school that I thought were pretty good too.
There you have it. Shane's reading Olympics career right there. You guys wanted to hear it. If you guys fell asleep, you asked for it. Zach, throw it back over to you. Moving on to topic 2, bad trades and head
I
scratches.
keep the people
But
entertained.
Hey, bad trades.
we're moving on to topic 2.
Oh, I was gonna talk about upcoming free agents that are coming. That are
All right,
coming
go ahead.
up.
Go ahead. All right, we won't go into topic 2 yet.
Yeah, 'cause
Zach,
I-
taking control.
Yeah. Go ahead, Connor. All right, we'll talk about a couple like upcoming. Actually, no. We'll save it for another episode once like free agency starts coming up.
All right.
We'll save it for them.
All right, so let's move on to 2.
Bad trades and head scratchers. Let's talk about my least favorite trade of all time. Patrick Sharp to the Blackhawks. Worst trade in Philadelphia Flyers history. Don't at me. No cap.
How do you feel about that?
Terrible. The Blackhawks got Patrick Sharp and Eric Maloch. The Flyers got Matt Elson, a 3rd-round pick. I don't know who they chose that 3rd-round pick. Probably someone that we don't even know about. Terrible trade. Once again, terrible trade. What do you guys think about that?
That's 3 terrible trades.
It's terrible.
Dang.
I hate it. Pissed. Mad.
I mean,
Wait, what
Sharp
year
had a
was
great
this?
career in Chicago, so
Exactly.
Yeah, 3 cups.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, he was a good player. He was a good player for a long time too.
I don't really remember a lot of that, but I can
He was really good in NHL 10.
I can honestly say if we want to fast forward time a lot, one of the most frustrating trades, Zach, you already know what I'm going to say. One of the most frustrating trades that made me pissed off was when they traded Braden Shen.
See, that
Yes
worked
and
out in
no.
the end, though, didn't it?
Yes and no.
Who did we get out of it? Didn't we get
Yuri
Travis?
Laterra and a 1st-round pick, which turned out to be Morgan Frost.
Oh, it was Morgan Frost. I thought it was Konechny.
Con's mad.
Yo, I'm so mad because I'm trying to say something and my Wi-Fi keeps cutting out. Oh, we upgraded our Wi-Fi. It's perfect. Obviously not.
Well, why don't you just ask it to cooperate? That's how it
Hey,
works,
why don't
right?
you slob on my fucking knob?
Colin's mad, guys. I don't know if you realize that, but
Yeah, that brain shen trade. It will like it pissed off a lot of Irish fans. But
Yeah,
granted,
so-
you got Morgan Frost out of it, who's a big key to your future. And
you have to wait and see with.
Eurotera got cut because he was doing cocaine, but we won't
I
he's
think
a fucking finished
when
He's
that
an
happened,
interesting player.
I was
Finished
so
drug
pissed
lord.
off when they traded Braden Shen, and I remember a lot of people saying and to free up space, but I mean, we don't need them now, obviously. But that's the thing with the Flyers; they go to another team and they win a cup within 2 years. It happened with Jeff Carter. It happened with Mike Richards.
Carter Richards.
A year.
Braden Shen now,
Amen.
it was such a dumb trade, and I didn't like them getting rid of Shen for freaking Yuri Laterra, freaking fourth liner, if best, terrible player,
Hate Lear
doing
Laterra.
coke, all this stuff. If it was true or
And
not.
not to mention, Braden Shen, when we traded him, had a breakout season, and then the next season had another breakout season.
Well, that's also something too that you could say with bad trades. It's just it was a great trade for the Blues and it was a bad trade for the Flyers, but you can also say players don't work out on certain teams. Obviously Shen was a great piece of our team, but he goes to the Blues and has a breakout season. I feel like a lot of that's because of who was on the Blues. And the Blues, obviously they were, I don't know if they were tanking or what the hell they were doing, but
They're stacking their team.
Christmas time they were terrible. And the All-Star break, and then they turned it around
When they put it all around.
It also helped they got a new coach in Berube.
Yeah, but it just goes to show you, obviously trades are this side, that side, good side, bad side. For one team, it might be terrible. For another team, it works out great.
Look, granted, that year the Blues were really stacking their team.
Yeah,
they later traded almost half their team for Ryan O'Reilly, which kind of worked out. Signed Tyler Bozak.
Ryan O'Reilly was a freaking
Patrick Maroon.
If we go back to the playoffs last year, Ryan O'Reilly was a beast. He deserved the Conn Smythe. He deserved the MVP. He was a freaking monster. I'll look up his stats, but he had how many goals did he have in one series? Or he had so many goals, and even just
I think he ended with 37 points the entire
37 points.
Is I could
ridiculous.
Be wrong.
I don't know if he got 37. He might got
might
less
than
than that.
20, I know he had a good playoffs. So.
Colin Gloria.
I'm looking it up.
and
He
also
had 23
Gloria.
points.
Gloria.
I'm gonna say something wild right now. This is gonna be wild. Without Philly, St. Louis would have never won the cup. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Why do you disagree with that?
Because they can get hot at any time. The point they got
What do you mean? What do you mean with Philly?
Because if you go back to the story, obviously, who knows? But if you go back to the story, the whole
them singing this.
Yeah, wasn't there a story?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
bar.
so the whole story
everything
was
started
that
in Philly.
the whole story was that
Jax MYB.
Jordan Binnington and the team went to a bar in Philly. I think it was after Binnington had a shutout or something.
That was before.
It was
night before.
they were watching the Eagles wild card game. That's what they were
Against the
doing.
Bears.
Yeah,
Double
that's
doink.
what they were doing. There were 5 of them at the bar. I think one of them, it was Alex Pietrangelo was one of them. I couldn't tell you the other 4, fortunately.
I wish I knew what you said, but my Wi-Fi cut out again.
Talking about how there's the Blues who went to the actual bar in South Philly.
Yeah. So
Alex Pietrangelo was one of them. Not sure of the others, but oh god, his Wi-Fi is really struggling right now.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say Philly was a reason why.
For those of you watching on Spotify, Connor currently has his head tilted back and looking at the ceiling because he's very, very annoyed with his wireless connection right now.
It's a good picture right now. If you want to take a picture,
There's Connie's back.
There it is.
go
He's got his
on.
headphones off too. He's
You're putting your headphones upside down.
let's just say he's not in the best mood with his whole.
He's choking himself out right now with his headphones. He's unplugged his headphones because he tried to choke himself out with it.
Also, we should go around highlight what everybody's wearing during this time in the podcast. Just for those of you who are listening on Spotify or maybe listening to a non-video platform. So I guess I'll start. I'm wearing a flannel, and then underneath it, I have a shirt that says Hockey Valley for Penn State. Got given this by Pagula Ice Arena, so thank you to the guys over at Pagula for handing this to me. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool shirt. It's got the outline of Pennsylvania, just Hockey Valley with Penn State right in the middle, because that's where it's located within Pennsylvania. And yeah, I'll pass it over to Zach. Zach, what are you wearing for this podcast?
I'm wearing a Gwen and Mercy sweatshirt because that's the college I go to. I'm wearing a camo National Guard bucket hat because my hair looked disgusting. And by the way, I texted my barber earlier this morning. He hasn't responded to me because I need a haircut so bad. Shout out, Mike.
I think we're all in that boat now.
Yeah, I was debating on wearing this and like 2 other hats, but I chose my camo bucket hat because it protects my terrible head of hair.
All right, let's pass it over to Liam. Liam, what you got on today?
I'm wearing my Crystal Tang jersey. It's the Penguins' third jersey.
Probably the worst player.
What?
What?
What'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
I'm wearing my Crystal Tang jersey.
I'm wearing a Crystal Tang jersey.
My Crystal
Tang is more cups than your franchise, though, so we'll just leave it at that.
Oof.
Oh, you got me.
Definitely got us there.
Got me there.
Yeah.
Dylan, what are you wearing there, bud?
I'm wearing a Winter Classic G jersey from the Boston series.
All right. And then finally, Connor, if his connection is stable enough. Connor, what are you wearing this evening?
Wearing a Philly shirt.
Go on, Con.
Okay.
He's so mad right now.
Con.
Man, a few words this
right
time.
now. If I'm able to say this before I cut out, lesson, sometimes things aren't worth it.
Okay.
Got a
Okay.
point.
All right, boys. Let's get back on topic. Hopefully I don't cut out some bad trades. Liam, what's some bad trades in recent Penguins history?
Alex Galchenyuk.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Alex Galchenyuk. I mean, honestly, Phil Kessel didn't have the best season in Arizona, but Galchenyuk is god awful. I was really hoping that he'd finally break out like he was supposed to. He literally was lackluster on the ice. He didn't do anything. He was not playing many minutes a game. He just wasn't involved in the play much, you know. I mean, we also
Montreal
got
version of himself.
Well, he was good in Montreal. Pierre-Edouard Joseph we got. Pierre-Oliver Joseph, I think it is. He's I think our best defensive prospect now, and he should be a top 4 defenseman. But I mean, I don't know. Galchenyuk was just awful. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
I feel like he lost his confidence when he was originally traded to the desert for Max Domi.
Yeah.
By the way, Max Domi is absolute trash in my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Provorov.
It's just like with Galchenyuk. Yeah, I mean that's always. It seems like it's always the case with some players where it's like some teams are just trying to get like the same amount of magic out of them when they were with their former team. It's just not going to be the case. We were talking about that. Like you could go and make that example again with Bobrovsky, like we were talking about earlier in the podcast. Different town, different market, different fans. It all plays into like a player's mental state that henceforth impacts the game. So,
and I feel like Galchenyuk, because they traded him again this season. I feel like in Minnesota, which needs a little bit of offensive flair, I feel like he can help contribute that and hopefully build his confidence to become the player that he was drafted to be. This didn't happen in Arizona.
I will say, I guess he wasn't really a trade, but he was kind of picked up by them. But I think Jonas Donskoy going to the Colorado Avalanche, that is quite a pickup they got. I will say because San Jose unfortunately kind of fell off this year. I mean, you had Pavelski go to the Stars, and really they're just kind of relying on like Joe Thornton and a couple of other young guys.
Latour,
yeah,
Thomas Hertl.
But at the same time, I think honestly, like
I'm not decent, but
yeah, but I'm just like a huge fan of like a lot of what the Colorado Avalanche do. It seems like they're a solid franchise just overall, and they make a lot of really good moves. Especially when you think about how young their team is and how well they're doing for how young they are. It's like, you could say they're pretty well set up for the future. And I think,
they need a Tendy.
They do.
100%.
But
Yep.
I think I just love the way they play run and gun offense.
And Nathan McKinnon's not a selfish player. He didn't take that big contract which he deserved. He took a team-friendly deal, unlike Miko Ranson, in my opinion, who took $9 million a year, which he's not worth, in my opinion. He's maybe worth the amount of money that McKinnon's is making. I feel like he flip-flopped those contracts. I feel like it seems a little more feasible for each individual player. But McKinnon's not selfish, and that's what you need in a franchise player. Someone's not selfish.
You do need that.
Can we talk about that Jeff Carter trade?
I was
Columbus?
just gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
I was just. Yo, Con, your mic's muted, by the way.
I know. Take it away, Coss. How do you feel about this Jeff Carter trade?
Wow, man, that was brutal. But what was that? The one we got Couturier, or was that?
Yes.
That yeah.
Couturier and Voracek.
At the time, it was probably one of the most upsetting times. But looking at it now, Couturier is probably one of my favorite players on the Flyers. So it paid off definitely in the end. But I remember at the time I was crushed because I remember that was the year we got rid of Carter, Richards, and we got Brizgalov. And I remember Brizgalov was
Brizgalov, not Brizgalov.
Whatever, dude. Why you have
It's
to
only
be mad?
game.
It's only game.
It's only game.
But yeah,
I'm not scared of
It's only trade. Why you have to be mid?
in the end, it worked out. So
Good news. I'm not playing. Better news. We have a chance to win. I'm gonna sit on the side on the bench and drink out my thermos.
So
My thermos.
I have this
This guy's a
article.
thermos.
If I cut out, somebody take it from me because I know it probably will happen. But I have this article from the Hockey News talking about Jeff Carter moving out of Philly in 2011. It says, since Jeff Carter has moved out of Philly in 2011, he's been a critical component of 2 Stanley Cup winners, won an Olympic gold medal, banked tens of millions of dollars, and gotten hitched. Life is indeed sweet for the 29-year-old center. But the question we're asking today is, who won that deal between the Flyers and the Blue Jackets 3+ years later, based on the results of that swap and the subsequent package Columbus received for the then disgruntled Carter? Here's our reassessment of the transaction in the latest installment in a series of reopened and cold case files. So the deal was, it took place on June 23rd, 2011. Philadelphia Flyers trade Jeff Carter to Columbus for Jake Voracek and the Columbus Blue Jackets' first and third round draft picks in 2011. The results, Carter, who inked an 11-year, $58 million pact, was triggered in 2011-12, coming off a disappointing season, and the Flyers were looking for cap relief. They found a willing partner in Columbus, a club looking to make a splash, and wanted to convince Rick Nash they were serious about going to the next level. Unfortunately for the Jackets, it didn't work out as planned. Carter got hurt and was unhappy and played just 39 games in Ohio before being leveraged for defenseman Jack Johnson and a first-round pick that turned out to be Marco Dano. Jackson has been a stud at times for the Jackets. His performance against Crosby and Malkin in the first round last spring is Exhibit A. This article was written in 2014, so it's a little throwback. And disappointing at others. Columbus's number 1 defenseman in terms of ice time, Johnson, is off to a challenging start this season. Again, a couple years ago. Dano 19 cracked the lineup this season, was pleasant surprise early on, yada yada. It starts talking about that. On the Flyers side of the ledger, they got Jake Voracek from the trade. Voracek was sizzling in the first year that they got him. He was a decent points producer. He's still a great points producer. He's a playmaker. He's got loads of assists. He's an assist getter. He's been a decent points producer, durable performer since the transaction, but the skilled, speedy winger tops the club in points. He ranks second to Crosby in the NHL. Hey, Liam, listen up. Few were expecting him to maintain that pace, though. The Flyers owner, Ed Snyder, did not proclaim earlier this year that he thought Voracek would be a superstar. Now, if you go to Sean Couturier is developing into a high-end two-way player who can be used in all situations. While he hasn't shot the lights out, he is trending upwards in production and darling of the advanced stats world. So that was written in 2014. How do you think that's changed in 2020?
Oh, a lot. I mean, you just look at Couturier and how he's developed. I mean, that dude turned in from a solid two-way forward to possibly winning the
Selke.
of the Selke Trophy. I mean, like it's him or Bergeron really at this point. So
Yeah, it's him or O'Reilly or
And
yeah, or O'Reilly. Yeah.
or Kopitar.
the article does say that Philadelphia won this trade. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Yes,
Easily.
100%.
And it says that Philadelphia, you need to toss out Carter's post-Columbus days. This is between Philly and the Jackets, and it could turn into a landslide if Voracek truly has elevated. Couturier becomes the Selke Trophy candidate. Some are projecting, and Cousins keeps progressing.
Well,
So-
Nick Cousins, Vegas Golden
So
Knight
obviously the trade was worth it, boys.
now. 100%.
Oh yeah, I think so. You know, admittedly, like at the time, there were probably a lot of devastated Flyer fans to see Jeff Carter go, and you know, you always have to think about the future when it comes to making trades. And personally, I think the Flyers, when you look at like the future where they came from, I think that they've done a great job since then.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Couturier, like how he's developed, it's definitely been, you know, one of the best two-way forwards in the NHL. So.
Mhm.
Let me
Great.
ask you guys a question. I know there was a lot of rumors of this. Would you guys consider a trade for Carter?
Say it again.
Would you guys want Carter back on the team right now?
Oh, dude. Oh my God.
No.
I'm gonna get triggered and it's gonna cut out, but no, I don't want Jeff Carter back at all. Why? Why would you want Jeff Carter back? How old is he?
He's 36,
I think he's
37.
20.
He's
Is he really?
36. Yeah, he's like 36, 37 years old.
Yeah. Why? I feel like, and like just going off a little rant here, like I love Philly, like it's my city, it's my team, but like a lot of people in Philly are idiots, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Philly-
stupid people in Philly.
Philly always goes for the older guys. I mean, you look at like Yager, they'll go after Yager. They go
Sean
after
O'Donnell.
everybody that's out of their prime.
They don't. I feel like don't get me wrong, no discredit to Philly or just anybody in general, but like a lot of Philly fans just want to believe the hype and like get on the bandwagon so easily. And when a player's not doing good, they hop off so quick. Like I told Liam this earlier when we were having a little feud on Snapchat or whatever the hell it was, that Carter Hart got hurt a couple
Matt,
seasons
answer my
ago.
question.
What was your question?
Oh no. This is talking about the Instagram thing. Matt did
Like,
respond to me, so
Carter
it's a little salty about that personally. But
Carter Hart got hurt and everybody jumped
Carter hurt.
so quick.
Yeah.
He got hurt.
Carter hurt. Boom, boom,
Shane, calm
Sorry,
down
sorry.
for like 5 seconds. Christ almighty.
Shane, watch this.
That's
So-
me.
Carter
Dun,
Hart
dun,
got
dun, dun,
hurt.
dun.
I will meet you. Don't think I won't. Carter Hart got hurt and everybody jumped off
Do
so
it.
quick. Everybody was, and remember, Zach, you remember when he got pulled like 2 games back to back after letting in like 4 or
Yeah.
5 goals?
He was hurt in his rookie season.
Which
He got a lot of stress on him.
every goaltender is gonna go through that. And he's young too.
Yeah.
Every goaltender is gonna go
And I
through
feel
our
like
age.
there's so much hype too with Carter Hart. Like we're finally have a goalie. Like we
We're
don't
just
know for
expecting
sure.
too much.
He's still young. He still only had like 2 seasons. He's still new. I mean, obviously he's our goalie of the future, but everybody is so behind it and they're so like, all right, we're on board. And if there's a little hiccup or a little bump, they freaking fly off the rails so quick. And this little thing with I love Philly, but a lot of them are freaking airheads. You go to a Flyers game, I don't know if this is anywhere else, but you go to a Flyers game, you got morons saying shoot it when the guy's on the other side of the ice behind his own net.
That's
That's
everywhere.
pretty much it. Yeah, that's everywhere, Connor.
Like, I don't understand. Like, learn hockey.
That's people that are just sitting there when they see someone that has the puck and they're anywhere near the net. That's just someone that doesn't know hockey.
And you know what
saying,
makes me
shoot it because
I
I
don't
think
know
I know
yeah.
hockey.
But I don't know if this is everywhere either. Of course, we're Flyers fans, most of us, except for Liam, who's a simp. But when they're on the power play or whenever like they're in the zone, like you got people saying shoot it, or like the number one thing they're frustrated the most about, like whenever we're on the power play or that we can't score on the power play, is that they pass too much. I understand that your frustration of them passing too much, and I know why you're saying it, but you got to understand in hockey, you need a lane. You need a lane to shoot. You need to cycle the puck. You need to pass it. You can't just shoot it because one, you're not the player. They're the player. You got a completely different view of the ice.
Yep.
And the number one thing that pisses me off is when they say shoot it or why aren't they shooting it? And they do shoot it and it gets blocked and it goes for a turnover or a breakaway the other way. and then the other team scores, and everybody's like, "Oh, what the hell? Why'd you do that?" Well, you were yelling at them and telling them to shoot it.
I mean, they're players too. They don't have to listen to the fans.
Yeah, I understand that.
Well,
But
they don't even hear them anyways.
A lot of that too.
That's probably true. They're probably in the zone too much. They
A
probably
lot
just,
of
like,
that too is
drown it out.
frustration too, because obviously the players do feed off of fans. There's no other way of looking at it.
And vice versa.
Yeah, for sure. But like, I think it's not. It just pisses me off.
Well, I mean, there's obviously going to be people who pay a lot of money to go to these games. They're not going to know a whole lot. I think that's just going to be par for the course for a lot of people, honestly, attending just sporting events in general, especially with baseball. I mean, a bit off topic, but, I think a lot of people just get bored too easily of baseball.
Well, I got a question for you guys that's completely off topic.
Okay, go for it.
I watched a podcast the other day of Bryce Harper and I think it was Barstool.
Star 9. Yeah, Jared Carey.
And they were talking about the Olympics. Would you guys want to see the MLB players back in the Olympics?
Yes.
I think it'd be sick.
Why not? That's like you can say the same thing about the NHL too.
Do you see that Dream Team 92 Dream Team? If people were watching the documentary, dude, that was sick.
My thing is with that is why wouldn't they want pro athletes to be in the Olympics?
It raises awareness for the games. I mean, like, who wouldn't want to see Mike Trout going up against I don't know. I don't even know what.
Well, I think they have a lot of stuff to consider too. Like, you have to consider that a lot of the people that go to the Olympics, like, that is their main event that they train for. And that's also like their main like supply of income, like, during that year. Like, for example, like with swimmers and like track runners, if you think about it, like, admittedly, obviously it's not going to be as much action as like baseball would, or sometimes like other sports. Like, I can understand that, but at the same time, like, the Olympics is where they get their money, is where some athletes literally just go to get their money, and that's it.
Think about like a revenue point of view. Like, if you got 2 baseball games on and you're watching this guy that's from the Triple-A and he's lighting it up, you got this guy that's going Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge. Like, obviously you're going to watch the game where it's got all the big leaguers. So like, I just don't know why they wouldn't have big leaguers. Same thing with NHL. Nobody wants to watch guys that just never made it to the NHL. Nobody wants to watch guys that don't know the names. They want to see Patty Kane light up the stat sheet. They want to see Sidney Crosby. They want to see goals. They want to see highlights.
Right. And like, it's hard to give the fans like, what they want sometimes. But I think at the end of the day, when you look at it, it's like, I guess the way that some people might look at it from like a sponsorship standpoint is that, like, yes, it would be great, but at the same time, like, if you have to think about like how big of a sponsorship like for the Olympics it could be for some like companies and things like that. Like, they have to, regardless, like, the Olympics is going to get a huge viewership. And I think too, like, when you put those really big players into baseball or something like that, I think that'll definitely get more. But because they're already making enough money from the Olympics, they don't really want to risk like changing it up, because there's a bunch of different algorithms that they base it off of, and who knows how those might change. But I think that's definitely something to consider when it comes to televising it and putting different players in different positions and bringing in new players into like actual national teams. But could be changed up, who knows. And again, the Olympic Committee, IOC, they might see a chance to kind of restart after what happened, or what's not going to happen this summer. But
yeah,
also World Cup of hockey. Also World Cup of hockey. They should definitely bring that back.
Oh yeah.
Just as some evidence to what Coss is talking about. Hopefully this works. Just to give us a little bit of background knowledge. Here's the segment that Coss was talking about on the podcast.
Look how long his hair is.
This got me fired up,
dude.
As MLB, I think blackouts are killing the game.
Preach.
Think, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's horrible to me that sitting in Las Vegas, I can't watch a Dodger game on TV.
I'm in LA, Harp. I'm in LA, and I can't watch the greatest left-handed arm of my life. I can't watch him. I don't get to watch him.
and that's a problem. That's a big problem because you talk about exploring and trying to, grow the game in certain aspects of the game. Like you have to be able to do that. Like you want to be able to have people be able to watch whatever team they want in any, in any place. Like Sunday Ticket, I can watch every single game I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, would you not want to be able to turn on the TV and go, hey, boom, I'm going to watch every single game I want? Or even beyond that. Like, I mean, I know you can buy MLB or whatever it is, but like.
Oh, there's blackouts, buddy. Yeah, there's still blackouts in there.
There's blackouts. So, like, if you're sitting there and you buy your MLB package, like, you're not necessarily getting every single game. Like, you're sitting there going, I can't watch Clayton Kershaw pitch tonight. Or I can't watch, anybody play at any time that I want because I don't get that game. And I think that's the biggest problem with growing the game because all kids are right now. What do kids do? They run the iPad. They run the TV. Like they want to watch their best, the best players play. Like they don't care about, they don't have to go to the game to get there. Right. Like what are the kids that can't afford that either? Like, like throw it onto the freaking screen and let them watch the games. Like that's going to grow the games to the place where it needs to be. Or this is my big take on it too. They have to do the Olympics every 4 years. You want to grow the game? You want to really take it to different countries and different places? You put the baseball back into the Olympics, but let the big league players play. Can you imagine being in a foreign country, standing on the line, listening to your anthem blare? Dude, there's nothing better. Like, it fires me up sitting here. There's nothing better, bro. USA across your chest, just absolutely put a pounding on the home country, and you're standing there going, what's up? You want to grow the game, dude? Like it is such a travesty to me that you are sending, and I'm not saying this is disrespect to any minor leaguers or anything like that.
No, not at all.
The 2020 Olympics in Japan, in Tokyo, and you're not sending big league guys? Are you kidding me? You want to grow the game as much as possible, and you're not going to let us play in the Olympics because you don't want to, cut out on money for, a 2-week period?
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's dumb. You imagine walking into the Olympic Village, or you're walking into freaking opening night, dude, and you're wearing polo, freaking, like, I am so fired up right now, bro. Like,
yes, I'm not any good at all. My phone's not ringing hard. I'm fucking coming. I'm with you.
But you're watching also in the States. Like, you're sitting there going, dude, this is the best baseball in the world. This isn't the big leagues. Like, of course, the big leagues is the best in the world, but, like, this is the world. Like,
this is the World Series.
Exactly. So like you have Ohtani going back and playing for Japan facing, Mike Trout. You know what I'm saying? So like just imagine that. Like their teammates, dude, they're going after it. And damn well Ohtani's gonna try to punch him out. And hopefully Trout goes deep, 900 feet, in the Tokyo Dome.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like so those are the situations that you're sitting there going, we have to get back into the Olympics. And you have to take away everything where you're sitting there going, well, owners are going to lose money, players are going to lose money. Dude, every 4 years, I don't care what anybody says, the 2021 Olympics are next year, okay? Like they're doing it this next year for the coronavirus. Why not shock the world and put all your big leaguers back?
Let's go! Let's go! I am ready to run through a fucking wall right. I'm going to Japan.
Dallas Braden's ugly.
Hopefully Barstool doesn't sue us over that.
No, it's okay. Barstool's cool.
Is not going to give a shit.
So how you feel about that little segment there, boys?
Dallas Braden's ugly.
What'd you say?
Dallas Braden, the guy with the big beard.
Oh yeah.
He's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Bryce.
No.
By the way, he threw a perfect game in the MLB.
I think a lot of the stuff that they talk about is true. I mean, I'm not a pro at it. I don't know 100% everything about it, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, why not? What do you have to lose? And I think a lot of it is that they don't necessarily want to spend the money for it. Or,
that's what I was saying with their sponsors. Like their sponsors like the idea of something being secure. Like they don't want to have to try and change it up. Because they know that what they're doing makes money, and so they will stick with what they know makes money.
I think what Bryce was saying, it's probably more so MLB losing out on money because they don't, for like you said, like a 2-week span, they're not playing MLB games, but they could probably work something out. But I mean, I don't know everything about it, but
I think they could work something out. But yeah, I think the biggest hurdle is probably the sponsorship stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's where they make most of their money.
They just they're getting. I mean, you made a good point, Shane. There is they're secure and they know it makes them money. But to me, it's like, why not? What do you have to lose? Like, it's the MLB. Like, everybody already knows about you. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Next season, just do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, it's like they're gonna look at the costs, and that's just where economics unfortunately comes in over sports.
And it's like, you hate to see it, but it's like, what's a few dollars or a few? I mean, obviously they have all the money in the world. I mean, my biggest thing is why not? And the same thing can be said about the NHL too, with going to the Olympics, you know. And also to point this out, going back to the NHL side of things, the best memories of hockey, and you could say it about baseball and everything, the best memories come from the Olympics. The best moments, the best.
TJ Oshie.
Yeah, TJ Oshie, man. Like in the Olympics, the rules were different in the shootout, and you could play them over and over again.
Well, Mel game 2010 was
Who,
pretty
who
hype.
was the goalie there?
Bob.
Yeah,
Josh Quick, I think, right?
Well,
was it Bob?
Oshie was versus
Oh,
Bob.
I got you for
he
Russia.
absolutely torched him over and over. It was beautiful. And, you know, when I went to St. Louis, shout out to everybody who's from St. Louis. I don't know if anybody watches this from St. Louis. If not, shout out
I
to
do.
you. St. Louis, beautiful city, very underrated city, you know, Stanley Cup champions. It's a great city, and they know their sports there, and you'd be surprised. And I remember going to one of their famous pizza shops or something like that. They had a frame of TJ Oshie in the Olympics, you know, because TJ Oshie played for the Blues, and him doing that there's incredible moves in the shootout and scoring over and over again. And I remember watching it when I was younger. I don't know what year it was. I was like, damn, dude, he scored again.
2014.
And it's like, it doesn't matter if he plays for your team or not. He plays for the United States.
It brought everybody together. Everybody
Exactly.
on USA.
It's like, and that even connects to the movie Miracle, man. It's like,
Yeah.
I play for the United States of America, and you're like, hell yeah, man. And it brings the world together too.
And it's crazy too. Like you look at that game, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know who TJ Oshie was before that. But ever since that day, TJ Oshie was one of my all-time favorites now because of that day.
And and there's also an aspect where it can introduce you to new players too.
Exactly.
Because Ovechkin's a Russian, all these Russian players, Kovalchuk, all these players who play for Russia or play for Finland. You might see them in the NHL and you might not know their nationality, but once they're divided by their nationality in the Olympics, they represent their country. So, and even then, so somebody from Sweden or somebody from Russia might not know these other players. They'll be like, damn, who's TJ Oshie? He's lighting it up. He's on Team USA. Like, let's learn more about him. It brings more awareness.
Also, it was pretty cool. Like, getting like 9:30 in the morning watching hockey. Like when you wake up.
Dude, it's like there's Saturday morning cartoons you watch as a kid.
Dude, yes, Tom and Jerry in the morning. Dude, that was hype.
Liam, you've been pretty quiet. How do you feel about this whole situation?
He's been on his phone.
Honestly, I don't know. I think we should, get back into the Olympics. But I was thinking a theory about it as to why they're not allowing NHL players. It's because they want to grow the game better, because they want other nations like Japan, Korea, like places like that to actually have a chance and win.
Right.
Well, also you think about it, if like a lot of the players are going to the Olympics, they're gonna have to pause the season kind of like an all-star break type of way, and the NHL loses money off of that, so they don't want to send their players overseas to potentially get hurt and not play crucial games in like upcoming part, because like granted, usually Olympics, like the Winter Olympics occur I think in like January, February, and then right after that, that's when like playoff, it's like heating up to like who qualifies for playoffs or not. So I kind of see why like Bettman, Rob Manfred, Adam Silver, they don't want to send any of their players. These are different commissioners for different leagues.
Right. Yeah. That's the one thing I don't understand, because when you talk about like having other like nations develop and be good and have a chance to win, I think if you show them like, hey, here's these really good NHL players, it's like, why can't I be the next like Korean version of them or something like that? Like, why can't some Korean say, okay, I want to be the next Korean TJ Oshie, or I want to be the next Japanese like TJ Oshie, or I want to be like make a name for it. So it's like you kind of put them in almost as like role models for the future, I think is like a good way to implement it. Obviously, again, with that whole sponsorship thing, it's going to be tough. But I think, when you look back at like why people like the sport, it's because they like it when they're young and they see somebody who they really like to play that gets them into the sport. And I don't think that would be much different for other places around the world. Might be different for some, but I think it's a pretty common narrative for people to have role models around the world, especially when it comes to sports.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's inspiring too.
Well,
Have you
exactly.
guys ever seen $1 Million Arm?
No.
That was a baseball movie, and it was they
Is that
they
like
went
is that the one where they went into like Africa or a different country?
and they
Yeah, I
picked
saw
out a
that. I
bunch
saw
of
that.
cricket players,
Yep.
and the kid turned out to be like
Wasn't
a
it
really
Moneyball?
stud. Was that Moneyball? No, I think it was
That's
Million
not
Dollar.
Moneyball. No,
I think they're
Moneyball's
relatively
Oakland
like the same
A's.
thing.
Yeah, okay.
No,
But either
no.
way, the kid turned into a stud pitcher. Like they could do that same thing everywhere and just in hockey. I mean, it's a little different, but
I thought Moneyball was about like the Oakland A's and like the statistics
Yeah,
about
probably.
like building
I
like a
I
good
don't know,
team.
thinking of relative movies in the same ballpark.
Shout out
But-
the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, Oakland Athletics are really under 18.
Yeah, they used to be the Philadelphia
got nice
Athletics before they
colors.
moved out there.
Also, another thing that we can talk about real quick too. We're running late here, but it's whatever. The World Cup of Hockey.
Whoa, a little over.
they need to bring that back.
That was
I think
the
bring it back
best.
was cool.
That
I
was-
think
That
that
was
would
the
be awesome.
best.
The North America team under 23, that was
Mhm.
just so fun to watch. That was really fun to watch.
That was the best to watch, dude. That was like. Plus, it's like a little preview of the hockey because all that like in like August and September, so you get more hockey. for
But
that.
you also got to think too, and everybody wants them to bring back the Olympics, have the players in the Olympics, and with the World Cup of Hockey and everything. If that even had any traction, you can pretty much kiss it goodbye with what's going on now. You feel
Yeah.
that? Because
At least for a couple years, but
at least three,
bring it back 2024.
at least 3 to 5
Yeah,
years.
dude.
Because you have everything going on right now, and you have
Where's 2024?
No, because they did like every 4 years prior
Yeah.
to.
Right,
Where's
but
2024
everything's
taking
going on.
place? Anybody know? I know 2028 is LA.
for the Olympics.
Yeah, 2024.
Hey
Not
Siri,
sure where.
where are the 2024 Olympics taking place?
Just a moment. Okay, I found this on the web for Hey Siri, where the two.
Okay, thanks, but you didn't tell me the answer. You just told me something I could have Googled. Paris. Does that seem right?
That seems
I
pretty.
think that
reasonable.
sounds correct.
I've been to Paris. It's a very fun city.
did you fall in love?
No, I got drugged.
2024, July 26th to August 11th.
Nah,
Oh,
I
almost
Pauly.
died in Paris.
Imagine seeing hockey in Paris, man. Then
That'd be pretty dope.
this would be insane. I just thought of this, but you know how like where the Eiffel Tower is, they have that little stretch of land. Put a freaking pond there. bro.
Yes.
On the Champ
Have
de
a Winter
Mars.
Classic
Put a
there.
pond-
Yo,
Oh.
yo! I got a crazy story about when I was when I was at the Eiffel Tower.
Let's
Dude,
hear it.
it got locked down. Dude, we were under lockdown because some family left an unattended bag and they thought it was a
I
bomb.
remember this. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
we were under lockdown under the Eiffel Tower. It was crazy. And then later on that day, I went to a bar and some dude drugged me, and I woke up in a hotel room shoving a sandwich down the toilet.
What?
Crazy.
What? Wait,
I got
what?
a crazy story.
Wait,
No,
Some dude drugged you and you woke up in a bed
bro,
having a sandwich in a toilet?
me and my family, we went to this pub, and like this dude, he
With
like
the
gave us
pool
some,
with the
like,
lads.
some like African beer. It was like 15%. It was fucking crazy. And then he like and like we're like watching him. Like I didn't give a shit. I started watching him, like pour stuff into our drink. I drank that stuff. Next thing I know, I fall asleep.
Why would you drink that?
I didn't
In a
care.
totally different country. Yeah, I'll
I
take
didn't
it.
care. I went to experience something. I went a nice little trip.
Okay.
I woke up. No, I gotta continue. I woke up on a park bench, laying on my mom's lap, watching these French dudes play bocce. My dad got lost. He was struggling trying to climb over a bridge. Almost.
Wait, you guys were all drugged?
Oh yeah, 100%. Next thing I know, I'm upstairs in some hotel room. My brother's throwing tomatoes out the window at random people walking by. I ate the sandwich. It had like hard-boiled eggs on it. It was disgusting. So I started
Got
shoving
a
it down the
hotel,
toilet.
motel, holiday inn.
Yeah, it was some. Yeah, I started shoving down the toilet. It's disgusting. Why
You're
clogged
shoving
that
a
toilet?
freaking sandwich down a toilet.
Yes,
That
100%.
sounds pretty.
I have videos to prove it.
Dude, you have to bring them. You have
I
to.
think we should send
They're
them
on
in and we should play them right
Snapchat.
now.
Yes. Give me a second. They're all on
Oh, boy.
Snapchat. Dude, it was shot like a couple years ago, so the graphics are
But Europe is a
absolutely
completely
horrific.
different ball game. I can attest to that.
Let's hear you attest to it, Shane.
Germany in particular, those people. Let's just say because of the amount of beer that they produce, let's just say they like to have a good time. I'm not going to get into too much, but all I can say is that I was over in Germany during the European Soccer Championships in 2016, or Euro 2016 as it's commonly known in the soccer world. And let's just say like the equivalent of like I guess us having like a big ceremony for like the World Cup or something like that for soccer, like us like watching like on these big screen TVs and these massive plazas. Like they did that for like a group stage of a team that's like only European teams are coming up against. And it was like them against like Northern Ireland. And there were like at least 5,000 people just packed into this tiny square. And they go crazy too.
I was tripping that day.
Bro,
Oh my God.
oh my God.
For those of you who need context,
So
we're
many
currently
videos.
watching Zach's.
That was
videos on
by the
Snapchat.
way, that was a beer that the dude put a shit in my beer. His name was like Andre or something, and he told us he loved NASCAR. So I was like, all right, this dude sounds very, very American. I can probably, trust this guy. Yeah, don't trust people in France. Last place you want to trust people.
Yeah, I'm saving these videos, boys. Make up some
Jean.
time while I save these.
Make up some time. Oh boy. Well, you hear that in the back. Well, I guess something that we can do is for our next Wawa gift card giveaway. So I know Connor wanted to announce the winner. I'm not sure, Connor, do you want me to introduce the next question that people can win off of, or do you want to introduce the winner?
I have no idea. I'm trying to get these videos.
Okay.
I have a question. That
Yeah,
would be
Liam,
good.
take it away.
Just steal my
how
phone.
about- No, the question
Yeah, you
should
stole
be:
it.
what did Shane dislocate when Dylan, Shane, and I went skiing?
That's gonna be the question, huh?
This was a fun one.
Well, no one can look it up, so it's gonna be a wild
Nobody
guess.
can look
I
it up.
guess so.
Yeah. What did Shane dislocate when he went skiing? Well,
Fun
I was
fact.
snow-
for
I
you.
was
Fun fact for
snowboarding.
you. I remember this. So we're going down the hill, and it's me, and Liam, and Shane, obviously, and they're blowing snow down. We're going down this hill pretty fast, and we all wipe out in the same spot.
Yeah, that was the
Shane's
craziest part.
behind us.
That
Shane's
was the
behind us,
craziest part.
and they're blowing snow right on top of Shane. And I look back, and Shane's got a orange Flyer shirt on, and it's this color. It's this color now. Dude is getting snow all over. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And Liam's there. And he's calling me over. And eventually we finally get him up. We get him down. But this dude is covered in snow. And when we get down there, Liam's checking him out, making sure everything's good. And I shit you not, Liam called it right on the dot. I'm not going to give it away because obviously I'll give away the answer. But Liam called it right on the dot. And he was like, feel that. That feels dislocated, doesn't it? He's like, I don't know. He was like, it's very, I think Liam could probably tell his story more better, but he had it right on the dot, and very proud of him for that. That's why he's my doctor. Mr. 4.0 going to Duquesne now.
All right,
There you
boys.
go.
So these
Yep.
Comments.
everything's going wrong in this podcast, but that's okay because that's how we learn. But I'm just gonna have to freaking hold this up to my freaking webcam. It's gonna be terrible, but whatever. So Zach, you're gonna have some context as I show this. Here we go. Fifth one today. Got a little Snapchat there.
I started drinking at like 11 o'clock that day.
Oh God. And then we got we got a video here.
I was drinking a big ass Heineken under the Eiffel Tower.
Tall boy.
That is my father. You can see he's a little messed up too. And then there's no video of it, but my younger brother was throwing tomatoes out the window because
Yeah.
he
Also,
didn't
wanted
like
to go back
tomatoes.
to that story. I just want to say, after I dislocated the body part, I
Oh my-
still snowboarded down the rest of the hill.
Zach,
Like a
what is
I
champ.
was like, I'm
what
not
is
getting
this?
ski
What are you
patrol.
doing here?
Sandwich is
Those people-
disgusting.
I just hear French in the background. Is that
Yeah,
what's going on?
we're trying to speak French. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Je m'appelle Zach.
What a
Joie.
freaking beautiful family right there.
No, not beautiful.
Alrighty, boys.
Ugly, raw, ugly.
A lot of things went wrong, a lot of technical difficulties, a lot of me disconnecting, but it happened. We're going to wrap up the podcast here. We got a few announcements to make, a few shout outs to make. We'll move on. The question for next week, Shane, can you repeat the question?
Sure. So the question for next week, excuse me, is you have to guess which body part did I dislocate in February whilst I was snowboarding.
Alrighty. No one's going to know
It
that.
is a very, very broad field. So
No one's going to freaking know that. Oh, boy. And with
Yeah.
that said, if I
also
put-
shout out Noah Goodson for asking the reading limits
And,
question.
all right,
You're a beaut,
I'm
bud.
gonna say this gift card is gonna be a $15 gift card to Chick-Fil-A.
yeah, it's coming out of your wallet, not mine. I'm
Well,
not
I'll put it on it, but whoever gets it right, $15 Chick-fil-A.
Alrighty.
Jeez.
There you have it.
Hey, Chick,
Are we allowing multiple guesses?
No, one.
No.
Okay.
one and done?
So make your guess count. All right.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Oh, we just need to shout out people. Shout out North.Hockey. You know, why not? Shout out Hockey Benders.
Hockey Benders didn't give us a shout out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hockey Benders. You better shout us out or we're coming for you. JK. LOL. I'm joking.
Shout out Brian Prop. Dude follows us now.
Yeah. Shout out Brian Prop.
Yes.
Former Flyer. By the way, Hockey Benders, I'm joking. If you're listening to this, I'm joking. But it'll be really nice for you to shout us out.
Also, shout out all NHL prospects who follow us on Instagram and listen to the podcast.
No
We
zero.
wish you the best for your career, and we wish you the best through this difficult time.
Wait, before we go, who won last week?
Okay, so I'm getting there. Hold on a second. So I got a
The
little
tension is too much.
I got a little recording of the responses here. We had a few responses on the question was who led the NHL in points during the 2014-15 season. It was points, not scoring. Zach was a little unspecific there, but we fixed it.
Sorry.
Our first response came from somebody, probably a bot, named Richisai_official, and they just said, "Hey, Quarantime Out." So hello to you. That wasn't an answer to our question, but hello to you too.
Yo.
Yeah, they're just saying hi, being nice.
What's up? But within a matter of maybe like an hour, a couple like that, we had our first correct response. Riddler11, you are our winner. Congratulations. It was Jamie Ben. There's your answer. You're the winner. So if you want your Wawa gift card, DM us on our account. We'll give it to you. If you don't live near a Wawa, we'll Venmo you $5. It's that simple. Also, we had some other responses, of course, that we would be remorse if we didn't mention. 3OT Podcast just gave us 100 emoji symbol. That wasn't an answer, but we'll take it.
Give it 100.
Russell.Fox99 said Patrick Kane. That was incorrect.
She said no.
Good guess, though. Good guess.
It's all right, Russell. You'll get them next time.
Tommy_Chibra said, how's your day going? Boys, how's your day going?
Pleasant.
My day's going well. It was really windy today in southeastern Pennsylvania.
It was, but that wasn't an answer to our question, but appreciate that, Tommy. And Goodson.2, the man, the myth, the legend that wanted
He's a beaut.
shooting Olympics highlights, said Ben or Tavares. It wasn't Tavares, but you were right with Ben, so good job there. And shout out to our homie who's going to be on our next podcast, Epi3, Justin Perry. His
Justin.
His EDP account, E4D4B5, said your mama. That's not the correct answer. And Empower Performance _ said, have you ever ridden a city bus before?
Yes.
Has anybody ever-
Oh,
Yes.
I've been on plenty of city buses before.
Yes, unfortunately.
That's not an answer to our question, but we appreciate that, man. And I think you're a bot, but that's okay.
Unfortunately, Shane had to drive. Didn't you have to drive?
Have you
home
ever
on,
ridden a city bus before?
And our last response here came from a good friend of ours, closer friend of Coss, Mr. Hunter Williams. Hunter 5535 said Carson Wentz. That was wrong.
Everything's football with that kid.
Everything's football. So there's our responses. There's the winner. Congratulations to Riddler11. DM us. And that's our podcast, boys. Extremely unorganized. I disconnected a lot. Anybody else got anything to say before we leave the pod?
Daniel Jones.
Just wanted to say,
quarterback.
thank you guys so much for the opportunity for me to be a part of this podcast.
Welcome, Shane.
We really, we try and make strides in the hockey community as much as possible during this difficult time. Obviously, we know for those of you who are going out there having a difficult time, I can assure you that the better your attitude is, the quicker this will be over. And also on top of that, just keeping a good attitude throughout the entirety of this will make it that much better, Everybody's experiencing different things, but at the end of the day, we're all human. Things happen.
Yes,
like
sir.
this. Keeping a positive attitude is everything.
Kuba licked my nuts. Shout out to you as well. We
Yes,
DM'd you, but you never shout us out on your story, but it's okay because we're beasts. We'll shout you out.
Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter for any live updates.
One more thing. If you guys want to win the giveaway, be sure to like the video and make sure you're following us on Instagram and
Download the
subscribe
video.
to the channel.
Yeah, we're also gonna have a contest coming out soon. We'll think about it in the next couple eppies once we gain some attention and some people. You guys have been great responding to us. We appreciate it. We might have a giveaway where we give away like a signed puck or something away. We'll have a contest on our social media and whatnot.
There you go.
But
I got a few gift ideas in hand, so sure stay tuned.
That's the podcast, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for watching. And until the next episode, we have Justin Perry get on. We will see you in the next one.
Also, anybody who's listening on Spotify, you're doing the right choice because Spotify is better than Apple Music.
Download and follow us. Download and follow us on Spotify and Apple Music.
$15
and YouTube.
Anybody listening on Spotify, you guys are beauties.
Download.
Goodbye. See you.
Follow us on Spotify.